So many series and all these theories, I'm losing my mind. I've lost track of time. How can I watch them all? Oh! 2, 3, 4.
Hey guys, and welcome to RANDIME. I'm your host EJ,
I'm Chris.
and yeah, welcome to RANDIME. Excuse me, sorry. So we get my thanks out to all the fans out there who have been, helping me out through this tough time and looking out for me and helping me out. Just a big thank you to all the production team and everybody. We may not see eye to eye all the time, but we would never do anything to aggregate or instigate anything with those producers and anyone on the staff. So just a big thank you to them and all around. And I mean, Chris and I are so happy to be here on this show, and we're so lucky to be a part of this. We're really thankful. None of us, neither of us would do anything that would ever jeopardize our positions on this thing, and no matter what statements we may say and everything. As everyone always deserves a second chance. I always thought so. I think not that any of this is really irrelevant or anything, but let's dive right into the RANDIME episode this week. This week we watched Sea Control episode 4, which was excuse me here, a little out of order. Sea Control episode 4, Conversion. Now I gotta say, just right off the bat, I really enjoyed this show, Chris.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I really enjoyed this.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to just give a little, in specific, about your feelings, a little description about what you went through in this episode, what you thought.
I liked it. I don't think it was too confusing, really. We caught it in a good place. Episode 4. It does have to do with kind of economics, like not anime economics. It's not the actual stock market. But,
Right.
I think with more watching, I'd be able to really get a grasp of it.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. I was really excited about this show coming in. I've never seen it before, never did know much about it. But it really, really grabbed me and kind of, shook me. It was like, hey, wake up! Watch this show. That's exactly what this episode, did for me. So I guess how lost do you think you feel in this episode, as far as the whole show goes, of course?
I don't know if it was the episode that we watched or if it's always like this, but they kind of explained it to us in this episode.
As for me, didn't really feel too lost this time around. I kind of feel like I understood what was going on as far as the world goes, and kind of the main character, Kimi Maru, I believe his name is Kimi Yoga, I think his name was. And it really grabbed me. Even though this is episode 4, I felt like they didn't have to baby me introducing things. Didn't feel like I'm sure I'm missing out on some really good stuff in those first 3 episodes, but I get it. I know what's going on, and I'm invested. The next thing I want to ask is how did you feel about the opening?
I liked it.
Yeah, this was right up my alley. This is really what I want to see from the anime we watch. Really cool things. The whole intro was done very marvelously with all the money and everything, and this is a show about economics and the impacts of money and this crazy system that they've created in this world known as the financial district, where people can compete in where they make deals which end up being fights, where you have your avatar fight for you and try to beat up the other person's avatar, and I guess the person in some cases.
Yeah, it depends.
That was a pretty wild opening first scene where the main character is almost poisoned by his own professor, his teacher. Whew, that guy had a rough life, that guy.
He took it in stride.
Yeah, I was really worried there that something bad was going to happen to him when they had that train scene.
He lost his 3 children.
I'm not going to downplay the loss of his 2 children and his unborn child. But
3 children.
What? Well, the third one wasn't born yet. Unborn.
I guess that doesn't count for you. I guess we know a little more about
That's
EJ's
not
politics.
true. That's not true. That it's a sacred life. You gotta be careful with that. But sometimes those decisions need to be made. Nor do I think that I should be the person making that decision. That's up for the person whose body that is, and whoever else was involved in that process. They should have a conversation together and maybe see a counselor, because that would be a good idea, or a therapist, or someone within that field.
The clock's ticking, so find one fast.
You
You
got a
only
couple.
got like how many months?
I think it's has to be done for the first trimester, I believe. But
No, that's like 3 months. You gotta find a therapist in that.
yeah, you usually don't even know until after the first month or so.
Oh, Jesus
From what
Christ.
I've been told and read online. But anyway, back to anime. There were some great one-liners in this episode. Oh my gosh, like. I think his professor says, like, my business model is complete when he is, like, poisoning the kid. That's outrageous. And then when he's getting poisoned, his avatar, oh gosh.
Oh yeah, sell
you know
my
what her name
stocks.
was? She's like, sell my stock, sell my stock, sell my stock.
That's the kind of stuff where it's like they're just using economic phrases. I don't think it
I
means.
know, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really have a big background in economics, but it's a very interesting
neither. I don't
topic.
know.
I took statistics once. I didn't do very well, but that's probably my fault for not studying in that class. But it was a little bit difficult. It's hard to get into statistics. It's not it's a hard.
Prerequisite.
Yeah, it's a hard topic to teach, and that guy did his best, but it didn't work this time. That's just kind of how statistics go. And same thing with the stock market. Everything sounds like it's going to be really good, and then there's a nasty crash, and you lose all your money. So please be careful where you're investing, everybody. It's a dangerous world out there. You need to be safe with your money. Make sure you have a financial advisor if possible, or a friend, a loved one maybe who's happy to see you succeed, like a parent possibly who may have already gone through some of this, because people just don't know how a lot of these things work, and it's a scary world when your future's at stake. Much like so for our characters.
Yes.
All right, Chris. I guess one of the questions we normally ask is, do you think you could explain the premise of the show? And maybe since we're a little early on in the show, where do you think it's going to go?
Yeah, I think I could explain it. Secret financial market affecting the real world. People battle for more money. And where do I think it's going to go? Probably a big climactic ending where either the whole world is affected or saved by the main character.
Sure.
About you?
I think I could see where you're going with that. I think there's probably going to be some sort of confrontation with that major group that we saw. Makadori Guild, I believe it is. They're trying to get 50% of the financial district, so they can kind of control, I guess, the
Make it
flow
more
of the economy.
stable.
Is what it sounds like. I think they're led by Suichiro Mikuni.
I think I know who you're talking about.
I'm hoping that's
His
the
mentor?
guy's name. So I don't think it's his mentor. That guy's definitely taking advantage of him in some way, and he even says that, I believe, in the episode.
He's
Yoga says, like, so why are you doing this? He's like, I'm not a nice guy. He's like, you're not? And then, like, it just cuts. It's like, oh, yeah, I guess that guy's not a nice guy. He said it himself. It'll be interesting to see where he kind of goes off, because seemingly he comes from a very intelligent, smart place. And if this is the main bad guy, which I'm under the impression it is.
You are?
Yeah.
I don't disagree with you that he could turn bad later, but right now, as of episode 4, he seems more mentor than bad guy.
I don't know. They had that whole scene where he's with his, like, dark...
He saves him. He gives him advice.
It's an investment,
Well, yeah, but that's just more advice of being pragmatic and not, getting too attached to people. Which is why I think he could turn bad, but right now it seems like he's good.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from. I think just the only other evidence that I have to support my claim is when he's having that meeting with his group of people, and they said, "What are you gonna do with that kid?" And he's like, he'll serve a purpose or something.
Also, in the beginning, like the final shot, the opening of the show. No, I'm saying for your point, the final shot of it
is them like running towards
each other. Fighting basically. So they're gonna fight.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's gonna be the big bad of the show.
Yeah.
It'll be.
I don't think you're
see.
wrong. Yeah.
But you're right though that he does come across as someone that you may not be able to trust, but someone who's helping you in some way.
Yes.
And I think that does have merit.
Oh, that was a nice moment.
Yeah. And then they cut into him fighting another high-ranking individual in the financial district world. Who I definitely did not write down that guy's name. A bit of an older man who has a very interesting. It's not.
Power.
He stole it. He stole the power.
Yeah.
You know, that's the power from Naruto. That was the water ninja. He's doing the mirror trick from Naruto.
Damn.
The ice mirror. Yeah. And they even stole the name of it. They call it the Pac-Man defense. You can't.
Oh. Well,
Unbelievable that they did that.
At what point is it not stealing? It's just an homage.
Yeah, I guess, but it had nothing to do with Pac-Man, first of all. I guess maybe the edges of Pac-Man you could make an argument for.
No, an homage for Naruto.
I see what you're saying. I thought you were talking about Pac-Man. I was just disappointed that guy didn't do anything cooler with all those mirror things. I feel like you could have done some better bits. He kind of just kept slicing that guy's clothes off and was trying to make it a little bit of a sexy show, maybe. But that's, you know, something that always happens in anime is they always, like, start cutting people's clothes, but they're still wearing seemingly the same amount of clothes.
Not usually men.
They cut, you know, pieces of their clothing off, but it looks like they're just wearing the same clothing that they were. It's like, where's all this extra cloth coming off from? I don't know. I thought that was interesting. Who do you think your favorite character was in this Instant Control, Chris?
I keep forgetting his name. Makako, the clown?
Makasaki, I believe is his name.
I don't think that's right. It had cock in it.
Masakaki, yes. What kind of led you to choose him as your favorite character?
He's just out there. I don't know where he's going.
Yeah.
But he's a cool character.
Yeah, I agree.
Pretty creepy, but you know.
Yes, I think there's probably a darker side. You know, he's
Yeah.
probably the one who's coming in and snatching up those kids and performing the abortions, I would think. Not to probably pay. I don't think you can pay him to come and take your kids away. I think it's the other way around. You kind of have to lose money for him to come take your kids.
Which is like paying.
I think my favorite character is probably that dog knight. At first, I wasn't sure when we first saw him. I thought he was going to be a person in the back. You know, I maybe just had a funny hat on, but he came out and he was probably one of the avatars. Are they called that? Were they assets?
I'm
or
saying
something?
that. I don't know what they're called.
I don't know what the name of their name for what they're supposed to be called, but I thought he was pretty cool. I liked seeing him in the fight, the action a little bit. Kind of had some interesting powers. I think he was doing some like kind of big arm
When he
stuff
opened
or
up
something.
like a Pez dispenser.
Yeah. Yeah, that was really
That was
interesting.
cool.
But you can also have more than one fighter. It also seemed we saw with Soichiro.
And most
He
of
has
them are
3 different
girls.
Yeah.
Anime.
Normally we do least favorite character, but I really didn't have anybody that really bothered me in this episode. How about you, Chris?
The protagonist, Avatar. She was kind of basic.
Yeah, I'm under the impression that she'll probably end up being like a tsundere kind of character.
Yeah, I mean, that was... They already had in this episode that, like, he said, I will try. He showed the smallest amount of fortitude, and she was like,
Yeah. Yeah, well, hopefully they do some better pairing. Not that they get rid of her, but they they have a better relationship as the rest of the show unfolds.
Yeah.
Let's see. How about the ending song? How'd you feel about that?
I don't really... It's not that memorable.
Yeah,
It wasn't bad.
I will say that I think the graphics were a little
They never put too much
a little
work.
seizure-inducing a little bit there.
Yeah.
I would put a little warning on this one. You know, be careful when you're watching it, just because there are a lot of bright flashing lights, kind of like a very electronic sequence that takes place. I just say be careful if you're going to watch this show. If you are sensitive to light, to maybe put some sunglasses on or something, or ask your doctor what the correct course of action is. Otherwise, I thought it was pretty neat. It was pretty cool imagery there, just a little dangerous. But yeah, I was a fan of it. I think it was a good way to end it for me. All right, I guess we'll delve into what usually is our last question. Chris, do you think you'll go back and watch this show?
Not immediately, but there's no reason that I wouldn't in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, given enough time, I'll watch it.
All right, great.
I mean, how many episodes are there?
I didn't check. I'll be under the assumption that it was at least one season with 13 episodes, though. As for me, this is a show that I'm actually pretty excited about going back and rewatching. I think there was a lot of cool stuff. I really liked the money aspect of it. You know, how is this going to affect people? You know, beyond the actual fights. Sometimes was shown, and you only get, you know, like, hey, I'm going to beat this guy up now, and that's the end of it. This one's like, you know, there's some really big consequences for what's going on, and this is going to affect a lot of people. And I think just with, you know, some of the financial climate that we've experienced in the last couple of years, this is a very relevant show to maybe what's going on. I mean, this show aired in 2011. You had the 2008 financial crisis. This could have been, you know, maybe just a reimagining of what actually went wrong with those collateral debt obligations, those CDOs that those seedy businessmen were buying and selling up. Another great movie recommendation for finance would be The Big Short. I think it's a really great movie you could probably find. I don't think there's an anime adaptation, but I recommend it. It had a really great cast. Phenomenal movie. I guess it basically does it for this week, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in and watching and helping us out through this tough time. I really appreciate all the comments and you know, words of encouragement that I've been receiving. I'm just very thankful to be here and doing this show. So I guess, you know, thanks everybody, and hopefully I'll get to see you guys next week. I don't really know what the future holds for me, but Chris, just go ahead and turn the lights off, and I'll sneak out of here later on. Okay, thanks, bud. Thank you, everybody. This has been Randime with EJ and Chris. We're very thankful for you. You check out Sea Control episode 4. You know where to find it.
From here to the darkest reaches of space, friendship and love will conquer evil. But now it's time to go to sleep, and I will see you in my dreams tonight.
You do have to leave, though, at some point, so just make sure you hit the lights and don't tell anyone else I was here, okay?
I mean, I sleep here.